So, if I hear you correctly, what you're saying is Ontario needs to get a whole lot more serious here and stop waiting and evaluating and actually start moving closer to, let's say, what we're seeing as of today in Manitoba.
In certain areas, I think that's pretty darn clear. And you look back, it's not difficult. We see where cases have shown up in certain groups, in certain situations around the globe in wave two. And you do that, you look after those areas. The earlier you do it, the shorter the time period is that you need to continue those more restrictive measures. And pretty much the really, really wrong way to approach this is when you hear people standing in front of a microphone at a government level saying, we continue to evaluate this. That's the wrong approach in high case number areas right now. You have to act definitively and you have to act quickly. We've gone past containment in those places. They need to go into mitigation because, just as you said, testing and tracing is most useful for prevention and low case numbers. At this point in some of those places, that strategy is not going to be as helpful as doing definitive actions like close to lockdowns.
The evidence is clear. Vaccines do work. We look at the evidence, we listen to the doctors, we listen to the experts. Stop listening to all of the nonsense that is out there on social media, is what I would ask Saskatchewan people to do. For example, this week I've read and been talked to by a number of folks that I'm being paid off by the vaccine makers. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. The latest emergency order that I signed, there's a rumor that it's a plot for myself or the Minister of Health to go out and seize people's cows. Also, not true. These are a couple of the conspiracy theories, and there's many more. They're absolutely ridiculous, and it would be funny if the consequences weren't so serious today. Believing in and spreading anti-vaccine conspiracy theories is actually contributing to people dying from COVID by keeping them from getting vaccinated.
You know, I think a lot of people think that testing is going to really solve the whole problem, and it isn't. It's one component of a response. If you test somebody today, you only know if they're infected today. And in fact, if you're testing in a population that doesn't have very much COVID, you'll get false positives almost half the time. That is, the person actually doesn't have COVID, they have something else, they may have nothing. So it will just complicate the picture. On the other hand, if we have evidence of a case, even a suspect case in a school, all the contacts of that case, be it a child or a teacher, would be tested, regardless of whether they're symptomatic or not. That is something we've learned with COVID. It's very important to do that. I don't know why I bring all these papers. I never look at them.
Oh, when you're giving numbers, I do. I go, oh. I said that. Did you really say that?
I just say whatever they write down for me. I just say whatever they write down for me. I just say whatever they write down for me. I just say whatever they write down for me. I just say whatever they write down for me. I just say whatever they write down for me. I just say whatever they write down for me.
That's why I look at things.
And I know you have been friends with Dr. Fauci for a long time and you speak with him regularly. Do we need to create a new vaccine for these Brazilian and South African variants?
Yeah, the Gates Foundation was funding these studies in South Africa that looked at 3 of the vaccines and saw that their effectiveness was not as high against that variant. And similar variants are showing up around the world. And so the discussion now is, do we just need to get a super high coverage of the current vaccines, or do we need a third dose that's just the same, or do we need a modified vaccine? And all 5 of the companies that have U.S. Vaccines are looking at making that modification and adding that in so that people have already had 2 shots might need to get a 3rd shot. I think it's reasonably likely that we will have a tuned vaccine just to make absolutely sure that as these variants hit the U.S., that they're not escaping from vaccine protection.
When you say tune, do you mean that you would get a booster in addition to your first 2 shots, or in your next yearly set of vaccinations, you would get a totally new, just like a flu shot, an influenza shot, changes each year?
Yeah, both of those may be necessary if we can't eradicate it from all humans. If it's still circulating, we might need something that takes this new shape of the spike protein and is more tuned to that. So you might need a 3rd shot this year. And then if it's still out there, we'll be looking at how your antibodies, how your protection goes down over time, and deciding how often you'll need another shot. Probably not yearly, but as long as it's out there, we want as many Americans as possible not to be spreading it to each other.
vaccine mandate. You can stick your vaccine mandate